Have you ever scrolled through your social media feed and stumbled upon a picture of somebody who seems to be living the life of their dreams and seems to be richer or prettier, more muscular, more famous, and overall better than you, and for the rest of the day you feel like absolute shite because you feel like you are so far from where you want to be and you could never measure up? Yeah, happens way too often. It always seems like they've got it good. Like, hey, they published a new book, or they got a promotion, or they got married, or they got to go to the university that you wanted to go to, or they get to travel the world, yada yada yada. And you put your phone down and look around and think, damn, why am I still here? My life sucks. And I suck. Comparing ourselves to others is something that has become increasingly common these days, especially with the proliferation of social media and the regular use of it. Now everyone has the ability to peep into everyone else's lives and check out what they're doing. And naturally, as human beings, we are going to have the tendency to compare our seemingly mediocre lives with their endlessly glamorous ones. So we pick apart our flaws, question our own self-worth, and ultimately feel terrible about ourselves. And the insecurity that's already there just gets amplified 100 times. We start to become more and more frustrated with our own lives, and this could result in doing things that aren't good for us just to feel confident again, taking it out on ourselves and the people that are close to us, or just overall feeling shitty all the time. Now, that's not a great way to live, is it? We've all been there. I know I have. So with all that said, how do we actually stop comparing ourselves to others? First, by focusing on our own strengths and growth. Yes, it's easy to look at someone else and list out all of our flaws and inadequacies. It's normal. But what if we channel that energy to improve and enhance our own lives instead? We're all born with our own unique gifts and talents, and everyone is lucky in their own way. So shouldn't we take advantage of all of the strengths that we have and try to create a great life while we can? In a previous video, I talked about watering your own grass, which is how we shouldn't compare our garden with someone else's, but rather nurture and take care of our own. Imagine having so much fun with your own life that you wouldn't even think of comparing yourself to someone else. When you start to have that self-love and start focusing on your own life, you'd be, number one, having too much fun, and number two, not being so mean to yourself and comparing someone else's highlight reel to your behind the scenes. They literally have never stepped a day in your shoes and vice versa. No two people have the same story or the same gifts. And you've worked really hard to get to where you are today, so it's kind of unfair for you to compare yourself like that. And to add to that, a flower does not think of competing to the flower next to it, it just blooms. Have you ever seen a rose and a tulip? They're beautiful, aren't they? But which do you think is more beautiful? It's a tough question, isn't it? Because they're both gorgeous in their own unique ways. Some people might prefer roses and some are crazy about tulips. I like them both. And do you think the rose looks at the tulip and thinks, oh, the tulip's so pretty and I'm so ugly, I'm just gonna remain as a bud? No, the rose is gonna do her thing and so is the tulip. And they're both going to bloom and be gorgeous and bring joy into people's lives. Same way with us. Somebody else's beauty or success does not diminish ours. We're all born with our own uniqueness and our strengths. And instead of comparing, why not work on ourselves and celebrate others? Going back to the flower analogy, those two different types of flowers are stunning in their own way, but the real magic happens when they come together in a bouquet. Quoting Eileen from Lavender, it is a community, not a competition. Encouraging and lifting others up beats feeling crappy about yourself, doesn't it? Next, identify your triggers and take action to avoid them. The next time you catch yourself comparing yourself to somebody else, maybe stop for a second and ask yourself, why are you feeling this way? What is it about that person that causes you to feel inadequate or insecure? You can journal it out, talk it out with somebody, or write it down in your notes. It's important to find the real reason why you are feeling a certain way, and then you can decide on which actions that you can take to cut it from the source itself. We all know that our social media feeds are full of distorted realities. They're just snapshots of a person's life. One moment in time that gets documented and posted. Maybe they were feeling really happy or confident that day and decided they wanted to share that moment with the world. But there are so many struggles that we do not see. Think about it. If one day you came home from work and you had a really bad day and all you want to do is eat ice cream and cry, would you really post that up on Instagram? I don't think so. So with that in mind, if the things that you see on social media are what's causing you to compare yourself with somebody else or making you feel really inadequate and insecure, it may be a good idea to remove those triggers. We can't control how social media is, but we can control what we consume into our minds. This may include filtering through the people that you are following, maybe muting some of them or going on a detox if you need to. Spend a little bit more time with yourself instead of looking at someone else's life. Do what you gotta do to live a peaceful and happy life. The third way is to realign your thoughts, starting with being grateful for what we have instead of focusing on what we don't have. There are a lot of things that are out of our control, such as the shape of our noses or the color of our eyes, the families that we're born into, the country that we're born in. And when we compare ourselves to other people based on those factors that none of us had a say over, it's just gonna be a recipe for misery. Did that supermodel choose to be born with that height and build? No. Did that person choose to be born into, say, the royal family, for example? No. They're just lucky. It's all it is. Pure luck. And like I said, everyone is lucky in their own way. And after acknowledging that there are some things that we cannot control, it's also important to remember that there are a lot of things that we actually can control and focus on those things, such as our health and fitness levels, how we choose to act toward other people, how kind or compassionate we want to be, how we choose to make a living and spend our time, and which endeavors we want to pursue. Another thing we can do to realign our thoughts is to realize that everyone is on their own separate paths and no two people have the same paths or the same story. And it may seem like they have it easier and all figured out, but everyone has their own struggles and insecurity. So this is your story and this is your life. Look at all the amazing things that you've done so far and work with what you have. And don't worry about all the other beautiful flowers in the garden because we are all growing at our own pace. Just focus on blooming where you are planted and becoming the best version of yourself. There's only one you, and to be yourself in a world that's constantly trying to make you something else is the greatest accomplishment. How do you deal with comparison? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more. Thank you so much for watching, have a great week ahead, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!